farm, and today we wanted to start going through our breeding plans for you guys and sharing all of the breedings that have already taken place and our future plans. So here is Hill Valley Hershey's Cocoa. This doe is out of Corey's Fancy in Mayflower and Corey's Fancy Hershey. Last year she freshened with a single buckling, and he sadly did not make it, but we were able to milk her and take her to a show. And of course she's a first freshener. I kind of give grace to first fresheners. Her udder was very nice, socked on, very nice teat placement. And so I am excited as to what her udder will look like in her second freshening. She was bred to Hill Valley Strike 'em Out, who is the son of Vista Oaks Rocket and Rolling Meadows Mary Mercy in our herd. And so I went ahead and bred her with him, and I'm really looking for really nice front ends. She's got a nice front end on her. Her brisket extension is nice, something that we've been working on in our herd, and I'm really hoping to level out some rumps with this breeding. That's what I'm hoping for. Also some really nice milk lines with this breeding as well. The potentials for this breeding would be polled, because she is polled, and blue eyes, because Strike is blue-eyed. Also, I bred them on September 21st, so it's been, she should have went into heat again if she did not settle, so she is bred for sure. And I haven't, checked that with blood tests or anything else. It's just she's not been into visible heat that I can see, so I'm very, very sure she is bred. So like I said, she was bred on the 21st of September. Her due date is Sunday, February 13th, 2022. So hers and another one are due on the same day because I bred them on the same day. So this is Coco. Okay, so here we have the Hill Valley Z Lila Grace. Lila is out of Corey's Fancy T Irma, and who happens to be our highest milk producer on the farm, and Fields of Grace Z Zambra. We lovingly called him Hiram, and Hiram is no longer with us, but he has left a fantastic legacy in our herd with several of his daughters, and this is the very first one that was ever born on our farm. She is polled and blue-eyed, and she is a beautiful, beautiful girl. This will be her third freshening. Her first freshening, she had twin does. Last year, she had triplets, and it was a very, very odd birth. She's the one who had the odd deformity inside of her. It was like it wanted to be a goat, but it did not look at all like a goat, and so it was bad. But behind that deformity were two little bucks. Well, one was a big buck, and a doe. And so she did very well once the deformity was out. Our vet had to get it out. She fortunately did not have to have a C-section, cannot believe that. But she did very well afterwards, but she just always seemed like she couldn't get over an infection that she ended up getting after that deformity, because it was just necrotic inside of her, and she just had a uterine infection, and she was just skinny and never really bounced back from that. So we dried her up early. As a first freshener, she ended up getting her milk star, her AR star, in two categories, butter, fat, and protein. And that's impressive for a first freshener. Her volume, her milk volume, was really great as well. So I have a lot of high hopes for this girl, especially this freshening, because like I said, this is her third. That's really when you start to see a goat blossom in your herd, is that third freshening can really start, showing off what this doe is made of. So she was bred to Vista Oaks Recall. This was his first doe that we've really, bred anyone to and been successful, on September 21st. So she is like Coco. She is due Sunday, February 13th. And I mean, like I said, she had twins the first one, triplets the second freshening. we're just excited to see what she'll have in this one. The potentials with this breeding, they're blue eyes, moon spots, and polled. And so that's a big thing for a lot of people. They like that. My big thing, I really want to work on front ends and rumps and legs. And so he has phenomenal legs. He was LA'd really high in the leg category. So I'm thinking he can really help us with legs. She is just, like I said, a stunning, beautiful doe. She's not shaved down. You know, you can't really see her exact conformation right now. But she is just a beautiful, lovely, lovely girl. I love having her in our herd. And so, so like I said, she is due on Sunday, February 13th, and that is Lila Grace. Okay, so now we have the Hill Valley Z Karmic Glory, also known as Gloria. This girl is so sweet, and she is out of one of our favorites, Rolling Meadows BB Godiva, and of course Fields of Grace Z Zambra. This was the second daughter of Hiram, born on our farm, and she will be a, goodness, I gotta think about this, 3-year-old second freshener this year. She freshened last year, March 2nd, with Swiss twins. One was a buck and the other was a doe who resides here. The doe is here. That's Hill Valley Wonderland's Alice. And like I said, they're both Swiss, that perfect dark Swiss with the, you know, white stripes, white legs, white underneath. Beautiful, beautiful animals. And so their sire was, of course, one of our favorites, Vista Oaks Rocket. So we went ahead and repeated that breeding this year just because I love what I see when I look at Alice, and Felix was his name. He has gone to a farm in southern Tennessee, close to Georgia. But anyways, they're very long and lengthy, just like Rocket does. Rocket likes to throw those wonderful long and level goats, and beautiful. So I wanted to repeat that breeding. Very, very exciting thing about Gloria here. She ended up, as you all know, if you've seen any of our posts or Instagrams or our YouTube previous videos recently, she had linear appraisal, and I will be doing a video on linear appraisal. And she actually appraised the highest that any first freshener can appraise, and that is VVVV 89, and she did that. So we are super thrilled with Gloria here. Her udder as a first freshener, just like any other first freshener, you know, small, but everything about it is perfect in my opinion. It's socked on, the teat placement is really great, perfect. I mean, it's just wonderful. And the teat length for me is very important because I hand milk. And so that is what she has, and I really adore her for that. Not to mention, she's just very sweet, laid back, and just a gentle soul. So we are very excited about her. We bred her in September, and I want to say it's the 26th, but I could totally have that date wrong. But she is due, that's very important, February 18th. And so she will most likely be due right around the 18th. And I'm hoping for some more Swiss kids, and they will be up for grabs because I don't plan to keep, you know, because I already have one of her daughters, and so I'm hoping that I can help the world have more Swiss does. So anyways, that is Gloria. Here we have Corey's Fancy Karma. Karma freshened last year as a 3-year-old, and so she was a first freshener last year, and she is the mother to one of our most famous goats here on the farm, Ellie, Hill Valley Spindelli. And so sometimes we forget that this is Ellie's mom because we brought her in because she was just so cold, and she ended up on the 5th day. You know, Karma was wonderful with Ellie, really. By the 4th day, Ellie was actually nursing on Karma, but by the 5th day, she ended up rejecting her just because she just had too much of the house smell on her, and she didn't recognize her as her own anymore, and that's very common, so you can't blame Karma for that. She ended up having triplets. 2 of them were beautiful, stunning bucks. One went to live in Pennsylvania, the other is somewhere here in Tennessee. And then of course we have Ellie here. So Karma is just a beautiful broken chamoisé, is what we like to call it, her pattern, her coat pattern. And I love that. And I'm hoping for some chamoisé here in the herd. But we have bred her to Vista Oaks Rocket. And again, if you can look at her, she's very short. She's beautiful, beautiful doe, but she's very short, and that's okay. That's good, because then I can breed her with my larger buck, who is Rocket, and who likes to throw those long level does. And so I'm hoping for some does out of this breeding right here. Karma was one of the ones we took to North Carolina. You know, she was just at a very disadvantage this year in the ring as a 3-year-old first freshener. You just don't have that capacity. This is rude. You just don't have the capacity as a first freshener. You know, it's just not there. So we're hoping this year, you know, you can see a little bit more of that capacity and everything that she has to offer in the way of milk production. This year, definitely next year. So anyways, we're still hopeful this year. I would like to, you know, try to get her milk star either this year or most likely next year. But I just want to really show this girl off because she's just so beautiful and she's got so many things that are great. And one of those wonderful things that is great are her legs. It's something she was commended on every single time we went in the ring. And you know, feet and legs are very important because that's the foundation of the animal. And so to have something that is commended in every single ring she ever walks into, talking about her legs and her feet, that's something to work with. So we are very excited about that. She is due on February 19th, so she's very close to Gloria and Lila and Coco. So we've got them I've bred them all within a week of each other. So that is our sweet Karma. Here we have Rolling Meadows BB Godiva, we also known as Lily. This right here is Caden's girl. He does every showmanship with her anytime he enters a showmanship, unless it's a buck show. She is and has really grown into and matured into just a stunning, beautiful, solid black doe. Not only that, she has the best personality, and we just absolutely 100% adore her. Her rib spacing here, I mean, I can get my whole fingers in between her ribs. That just commends her dariness. She has such angulation and dariness to her. Her udder has literally, it has tripled in size since we've owned her. It has transformed every single freshening that we've had her, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. This was her 4th freshening as a 5-year-old this past year, so this will be her 5th freshening. She is due on March 1st, which she always goes on day 144, so she will most likely have them on February 28th this year. She was bred to Vista Oaks Rocket, and this is a repeat breeding. We bred them last year, and she ended up having quads. This was another interesting birth. She had a mummified, very, very large buckling. But she also had a buckling first, a doeling second, and then the mummified buckling that was humongous, and then a very, very small, tiny doeling. The first 2 lived. The second 2, obviously the mummified kid did not, and the 4th one ended up dying on day 5 of it 6 being alive. And that was very unfortunate, but we like to focus on the positives here on the farm, and so the doeling is just a stunning, beautiful little buckskin doe, and she lives in Virginia right now. And the buckling lives in the mountains of Tennessee, close to the Maryville, Walland area, and he is living the large life in the woods with his with one of our wethers, and he is doing his job well, I have been told. So he is a stunning, stunning buck, full of milk production potential behind both of them, mainly because of this girl. Again, like I said, she earned her star her 3rd freshening in all 3 categories. If you can see her, she's very small, but we call her the little goat that could, because every time we put Lily up to a task, she surpasses everything we ever think that she can do. And that's one thing she did. She got her AR Milk Star last year in all 3 categories: production, butterfat, and protein. No problem at all. It was super easy for her. And this year we had her on milk test just because, you know, that's the rule. Any doe in milk has to be on test. We didn't really push her, and I ended up going once a day milkings. But in North Carolina, this girl was 2nd place every single ring she walked into. She was also 2nd place in the youth show. So while we don't love 2nd place, we obviously want 1st. The fact that she got 2nd, I mean, she came from a doe that used to be at the back of the line. And that's what you get when you watch a doe like this mature and just be patient and watch them. She has, you know, I feel like slow growing lines, but that's okay, because once they hit 5, man, they look stunning, and she did. I'll show a picture here in just a little bit of what she looked like at one of the shows. It was very stunning, beautiful, beautiful. Her udder had a lot of width to the eustachian back here, and also the height of the udder. It just kind of popped up, and it just looks so awesome. So I'm very excited again for this to be her 5th freshening and see what she can do. Again, we bred her with Vista Oaks Rocket, and she will be due on March 1st. Potentials with this breeding will be blue eyes, and probably see some buckskin. I'm hoping for a light buckskin doe, because that's what that one was that passed. So I've always wanted a light buckskin, so I'm kind of hoping for that. So that is Rolling Meadows BB Godiva. Okay, so we're back with Hill Valley, or the C to Skye. We call her Skye. Skye here will be a 1st freshener, so this is very, very, very exciting. She is the 1st Vista Oaks Rocket daughter that we have bred, so very excited to see this breeding. She is out of, as I said, Vista Oaks Rocket, but also the Hill Valley Z Lila Grace. So Lila, being the stunning doe that she is, produced Skye and Iris in her 1st freshening. These were her twin does, and we still have them both. Skye here is just like Lila. I love walking into a ring with this girl. She behaves so well in the ring, even though she's really not behaving right now. She stands there, you set her up, and she stays. She has a very low-key personality, super chill, just like Lila. It comes from Hiram. They're just lovely, and just not just lovely as in conformation and beauty, but lovely personalities. And so Skye, like I said, will be a 1st freshener. She was bred to Vista Oaks Recall. The potentials with this breeding are moon spots and blue eyes. I also expect to see some really good legs, improvement in front end, and hopefully also the rump. We will obviously weather bucks. This is the 1st freshener, and that's really my rule. I kind of broke that rule last year, but I'd like to kind of go back to that rule and stick to weathering the bucklings that are out of 1st fresheners. And but any does, obviously reservations are open for this breeding. And I would like to point out, in our last show that Skye walked into the ring at Fort Payne, Alabama, she got 2nd in her very, very large class of dry yearlings. And winning 2nd is a big deal. In 1st place, that was the one that Isabella won 1st, and she won 2nd. That was a huge deal for us, because to have 2 of your homebred girls up at the front of the line was just amazing. So we are very excited. She is due March 4th, and we expect some really great things, not to mention some really beautiful interesting colorings. This could be very great, so stay tuned for that. That is Skye. Here we have Hill Valley Moondance. She is out of Corey's Fancy in Mayflower and Fields of Grace Z Zambra. So this is the 2nd Hiram daughter that we have bred, And she is full of spunk. She's got some Mayflower in her. She is full of spunk, but she is a beauty. Long, level, beautiful doe. She'll ever stand right for you. She does not like to be confined. She has a mind of her own. But she has been bred to Vista Oaks Recall. And potentials with this breeding is they're polled, blue eyes, and moon spots. Both of them have blue eyes, so the kids should have blue eyes. I'm really hoping for some polled kids. Obviously, moon spots are icing on the cake. With this breeding, I really am hoping to improve rump and rear legs, which he got an E in rear legs, and so that's what I'm hoping for with this breeding. I'm also excited about seeing her udder. This will be the second Mayflower daughter that I get to see an udder on, and so I am very excited about that. Mayflower, if you know anything about our herd, is really who got this whole thing started. When I was milking her, when she had a single buckling, I couldn't believe the amount of milk I was getting out of her, and I was wondering, is this normal? And really, Mayflower is just stunning herself. She's older, and I have retired her. She is just living the great life here on the farm, but she will live out her life here peacefully. But anyway, she is who started it all, and I tell everyone Mayflower is my heart goat, and so she's very special. So any daughter or kid of hers is special to me. So anyways, Moondance is lovely. I do feel like Moondance all year got overlooked in the ring. I kind of put it out there on the Caprine Confirmation Facebook page, you know, asking, you know, advice like, hey, what do you see? Am I blind to something I'm not looking at, or is it being able to see? And really, a lot of people did say she's probably just up against a whole lot of dry yearlings, and it's just hard, and she can get overlooked easily. She also does not behave like this in the ring, but she doesn't like to stay still. She likes to walk. So with that said, Moondance is, like I said, bred to Vista Oaks Recall, due on March 6th. And I should also add, with Lily and Karma, Skye and Moondance, they are just, it's too new. The breeding is too new, so I do not know yet if they have settled. But I hope they have, because I really like to keep this breeding season moving along. And it is, it's going really well so far. So that is Moondance.